All right. Welcome to Dorsey's Resource. Topic of this video is going to be new content on the way, plus other platforms to promote. Without further ado, this video is going to be for educational, informational, entertainment purposes only. Please understand that everyone's individual circumstance or situation may be different. It's up to every individual competent person. Please do his or her homework and research regarding the topic being discussed. This information is not to be construed as legal advice. In the event you feel you need to seek a competent professional, it is encouraged you do so at one's own leisure. Dorsey's Resource Channel is not responsible or liable for anyone's misuse of the information. These are simply my opinions on the topic. With that being said, all rights are reserved. Please govern yourselves accordingly, and always keep in mind everyone is responsible for their own commercial affairs. So without further ado, this is my third video into 2023. Happy belated New Year once again. Happy New Year. We're already into the new year, deep in so far. So I just wanted to let you guys know what's been going on, continue to stay abreast and get you guys updated. I still, from time to time, definitely get a lot of questions here and there about the reset of the dinar, what's been going on. By the way, that's an evolving situation. By the way, as far as what's been happening, but I actually went over that information. If you check the two previous couple videos that I did about the connection to the digital currency changeover with the banks moving to blockchain, that's pretty much part of their new agenda. I was told privately by one of my sources, but I've actually known. I just got confirmation, you can pretty much say, but there's conference calls out there that I follow from time to time, information, and that's actually multiple YouTube channels, by the way, that are in the know. Like, just because you might be in a cryptocurrency or digital assets, for example, doesn't mean one would always be in the know or actually know what's going on or what the elites are up to. And this is part of what I want to present to you guys. I have been working, searching for different topics. I have a lot of information that I love to cover. Some of you guys have supported me. I appreciate you all that still rock with me. Let me know once again. Keep me posted if there's a video topic you would like me to cover. By the way, let me know if it's multiple people, if it's a particular topic or something you want me to delve into. Feel free to shout out whatever it is. I'm just putting it out there, not making no guarantees, but when I do those open forum discussions, I do apologize for coming to you all late because it is in the middle of the night, actually early morning, by the way, to be technical. But I know for some, they're asleep during this time or whatnot. Then you have people on the West Coast that are several hours behind, by the way. So, some of those people might be still up or whatnot. But I'm going to work on trying to, as I've always promised for a while, to come before you guys during the day. As you know, obviously, I'm on this graveyard shift, and I've been, working on some changes, some things so far to try to eat healthier, get up early, and like I said, reiterate, I have a lot of information out there. I go over what to decide. 'Cause I even have information I've held back from that deals with the redemption education. I don't really refer to the sovereignty or whatever. Some really key things that I've discovered myself that's really important in terms of you terminating your contract, because there's a lot of people that are still being tricked, being fooled into commerce. And I want to reiterate, in the past, I talked about this quite a bit. There are different processes out there. I know nowadays you all obviously that have been following this channel for a while. Many of you all follow other channels now that talk about this information more consistently. Other channels that have been around for a while. I've had multiple subscribers send me things. I am aware there is a lot more people that are awake now talking about this information. Either they call it secured party creditor, status correction, sovereignty, whatever name I normally refer to it as. Once again, redemption education. By the way, And just because one's process or procedure may be different doesn't mean that it doesn't work. What's important to understand what I'm learning, I was having a good discussion with someone, a long time friend, a brother, I would say in the southern region, south of where I'm at. By the way, we were discussing is important because once you have the fundamentals down, you can actually combine those different processes. So what's going on, some insight I wanted to provide dealing with those that are seeking freedom, seeking, if you've heard the term status correction, trying to get to the other side. There's information, as you guys obviously know, there's a lot of people who charge to do paperwork and things of that sort, which I do believe a workman is worthy of their hire. As long as I say it's reasonable, I know some people can't handle it. There's different budgets. Even I myself have gone through that in the past. I've had paperwork done. I've attended seminars. I've done what a lot of you all may not know. I've already been in the trenches. I'm still in the trenches, still going through it. I've actually, a lot of you all have come to me say, hey, I've been scammed by this person or I had this happen. I've been through all of that already. Trust me. I've even separately have been through different investments that didn't pan out. By the way, one I won't say a part of a lawsuit. I actually last year sometime was surprised. I got a check in the mail literally in the middle of the night because I didn't check my mailbox earlier in the day where I stay at in my apartment, and it was a check from Profitable Sunrise. I was surprised. I really didn't do any updates about it, but I didn't get everything back from that. But there's another separate thing that I'm part of. I won't say the name of what that is while that's still pending. By the way, I forget what you call it. The settlement for the people, the guy who he already got charged, got sentenced already in that situation. I was referred to these programs a long time ago by someone else, pretty much, and then I got back in, and that's neither here nor there. But I actually, I wanted to let you guys know I relate to you all. So a lot of the experiences that you all have already been through. I've been in the same shoes before. Honestly, I've been where you guys are. So, you know, what I'm able to still help. I'm still here. Wanted to let you guys know I'm still in this fight. We're in this fight together. Remember, there's a saying that sword sharpens sword. There's a saying when I used to attend church years ago, they would say one person can put 1,000 to flight, or two or more people, minds working together, can put 10,000 to flight. And it's important that you stay loyal to those who you trust. I'll encourage you all, if you have study groups, study partners, those things do help. People that you decide just one day out the week to at least meet up and brainstorm, do paperwork and figure things out. This is how we progressed so far. The information has gotten more advanced. We're really close. But there's things that the cabal has done to try to damper things and change things around as well. This was shared with me by several individuals, things that they've done to keep, for us from accessing our freedom in different ways. If that's either monetarily or obtaining diplomatic immunity, being on the do not detain list, there's obstacles and roadblocks. And one of those things I've identified is through contracts. And they still are tricking a lot of people the way that they operate into still doing commerce, by the way. And then that's how they gain the jurisdiction. All of those little contracts that you don't think are important are actually important and can help you as a tool in removing oneself. I call it sometimes the matrix. And removing oneself from the matrix. Is that actual movie, The Matrix, had a lot of symbolism that was encoded, just like The Wizard of Oz. I had a document. I may have to see if I can pull it up where I can actually cover that. There was symbolism, just like I covered. I know a lot of you all loved that Wizard of Oz. The reviews were amazing. Big shout out to you all that let me know, that loved that series that I did. I didn't know that many of you all didn't know about the Wizard of Oz. I knew some people, but I didn't know it was like a wide, large scale of people who didn't know that that movie was very symbolic. But they also, I have some information, just like I covered, I dissected Wizard of Oz. The Matrix is like that as well, by the way. And there was a lot of symbolism in that movie as well, dealing with what we're going through, what the agents are doing, like Agent Smith, for example. We have things like that happening in real time. One of the things to make you all aware of is there's some important information I've taught and discussed with the banking system. I'm going to try to cover again. I've always shared with you all these documentaries. I encourage you all, if you've never seen them before, if you never watched Money Masters or Monopoly Men, I always start with those two. Money Masters, when you get a chance, you may have to watch it in increments, no rush, just break it up, you know, have a good time, do, what's best. But you really want to check that documentary. It's going to even answer questions now. And you may want to watch these documentaries again if you have not saw them in a while. By the way, I do the same thing myself to gather new information, updated information as to what's going on, because they will really help you connect the dots, connect the pieces together, and you will gain so much of a perspective. Like if you're working on trying to get assets, securities, and things like that funded, these documentaries will provide you insight into fractional reserve banking, a lot of the spookism stuff that's not true. When I talk to people that are still indoctrinated out there, don't understand how our monetary, not only how the monetary system works, but our taxation system. There's a private side. There's general public side, but there's also a private side to everything. And there's a blueprint how the elites, aka the ruling class, operate. It's not a coincidence that they're structured in a particular manner, by the way, to avoid civil suits, liability, is own nothing but control everything. And there's certain types of entities and structures they have put together. And that's why, similarly, when I mentioned that there's different processes and procedures, but when you understand the blueprint, you understand, you understand the formula, then you can combine actually several different processes. One of the ways you can do this is through contracts, of course, is knowing which particular contracts to remove yourself from. That's very important. There's actually quite a few as you're navigating, and many are not aware there is a caste system. Even if you have the 4-star passport, I'm gonna have to get in touch with Lady Tech again and share with her. We did a private call not too long ago with one of my private sources. It's very action-packed, powerful, something I could actually charge, but I would have to get permission first from the guest that we had, who I've known for quite a while. I won't go into the details about who they are. That's neither here nor there. But they went over really, really powerful information towards the end of that. And we actually didn't intend to go that long. Lady Tech said we were going to try to keep it at a minimum as far as like two hours. We ended up going 4 hours in. And there was some very potent information that was shared. And I even mentioned I didn't want to, ask certain things. I won't go into, a little bit further information. But I was having trouble from the platform trying to download it. Actually, I have permission, but I may have to talk to her for tech support, which she specializes in. So I've been still having issues because my source that actually invited, I was surprised. He wanted a copy of it to go over. He actually diligently, I would even credit him more so than myself, goes over, and I need to do this more often because it's been a while since I've really studied. I still do study time to time, but he's definitely consistent when it comes to that, and very, very skilled in that regard. The skill set is impeccable in that regard. I would say he actually wanted me to get him a copy of it so I could transfer it over to his backup drive, and I'll just leave it at that. And I said, okay, I wasn't sure because she understood the privacy, which I appreciate Lady Tech inviting us and platform that she created. It's going to take me a while to actually learn how to use that platform. That's why I said when I have more time down the road, God willing, if I'm able, once I'm able to completely get out of this 9 to 5, the rat race as they call it, then I would have more time to focus on learning that platform. I actually went over consultation last year with someone who was familiar with that type of software, and I had a friend that even shared with me. He confirmed that that software was used by major universities and corporations, and I was astonished. I had never really heard of it before. And the lady that I spoke with, whose name I won't say, I was doing a consultation, and she had shared with me, and this was just confirmation, synchronicity, that it was tough for her to learn at first. She told me she didn't like it at first, and it took her a while before she became acclimated. So I know with me, I'm not information technology, an IT person, so I know it's gonna really take me some time. But I can do basic things from here and there. But I was having trouble downloading the file. So for down the road, maybe some of you all interested, maybe you can figure out a way to raise money for the channel. And there's other people that I have been networking with behind the scenes. There's some other powerful information that I have. I actually shared with someone that went through another person's process that I shared with privately. Something else that was important that I see a lot of people are not doing yet, that is going to be detrimental. And this even goes for myself. I'm going to be making some drastic changes soon, but I'm not going to go into all the details of my plan because I warned you guys. There's bad people, the cabal, they're everywhere. They have minions, they have underlinks, some refer to as gatekeepers that report back to them and literally try to sabotage stuff. It's they're real life trolls. There's people like this, and they come in all shapes, forms, different sizes. So don't think just because somebody may appear to be your brother or sister, they may not be your brother and sister. There is a lot of agents out there, and when I was accused of that, I want to assure you guys, even though I work in security, I'm a security guard. I'm not the police. I did go through a background check. I could have been a police officer years ago if I followed through, but I'm a security guard. I do patrols because someone asked me, but I'm not. I didn't go through any official initiation dealing with secret society. If you guys know Macy or anything, I'm not knocking for right now because not everybody who necessarily goes through those types of things know what they're part of or actually know what it entails. But I actually found out the purpose of Freemasonry. I had a friend who's very well studied, researched it, and that shared with me privately. And I kind of see now, because I wondered for years, I said, what was the purpose? And he said their job is to help maintain humanity, or whatever it's supposed to be. And, because you're dealing with human beings that have, we're flawed. You're going to have agendas, and then you have control freaks at the top, very elite people that have their own agendas and things of that sort. So that's the reason why I have to speak in code. Sometimes I can't put all the information that I do have, good information, real good information. I can't always be direct with you guys, so I do apologize. But if I start a Patreon account down the road and I learn more as a content creator, influencer, how to get the information to those serious, I will do that. I won't forget. If God willing, I'm able to, and we can do that in a private capacity. That platform that Lady Tech has, I appreciate once again. I want to thank her. That is another avenue that is private. But like I said, to reiterate, down the road, it's going to take myself time. She's been a great help as a secretary. I joke with her, I called her Madam Secretary, by the way. And there's others out there that do awesome work, that have good clerical skills. And I'm still, in some of those areas I lack. Some areas I'm strong in, other areas I'm not as savvy in. And she's really good at, developing the apps for that platform and making things easier. So down the road, we have some great things in store for the inner circle, for those who, once I get things more so down the road, I get more acclimated, things become more up and running. We have big surprises, and there'll be people who be VIPs I have in mind up front that have already proven themselves. And I'll go over number one. I would say to reiterate, Currency 365 is definitely on the list. It's VIPs, people that have proven to me that have been real good supporters of the channel, and others out there. But I'll say a handful of truly at a certain level. I'm going to put people there, and they're going to be in a certain category, and they'll have access to certain files, certain information that I decide to share. I am careful with disseminating certain types of information. I have been, by the way, because a sister who I know who was studying, going through one person's process, I was surprised she was actually listening to me, and I went over something, and she actually caught something, and I said I could have gone further, but there's some things, some more information, because I don't want, if that information gets out there, the masses, what happens is the powers that be, they have their minions, just like with the TDA accounts, when a lot of people were trying to access using their social security number as the account number and looking up the Federal Reserve Bank routing number or other corresponding banks, it got too viral and they shut it down. And similarly, when I share real good information like that and something that's key in removing yourself from contracts and staying out of jurisdiction, so you don't give them territorial jurisdiction, and dismantling contracts. And I was one of the first. If you go back, I did a video series that was like may have called it the master class on removing contracts. I think Currency 365, big shout out to, he reshared those videos, which I didn't mind. By the way, helps me get exposure. Big shout out to the work that he's doing over there. You guys are welcome to go subscribe. I love the information that he covers over there with the cryptocurrency. Some things I don't talk about yet because I've been told I have cabal people watching my channel, and I don't know what side they're on. And I think Currency 365, some of the videos he did recently, he gave a good breakdown as to some of the reasons why I don't go in depth about certain things on this channel. And I've warned you guys, he actually gave credit to me, by the way. Once again, big shout out to for warning you guys and being basically prophetic in a way about the control dealing with the monetary system and why they're trying to make people debt slaves. And right now, you have something, I don't know for how many days, I've covered it before. You heard of the Davos group or the Davos meetings out of Davos, Switzerland. By the way, I went to band.video yesterday. I want to say that was Wednesday morning because we're into technically Thursday morning. Thursday morning. The time is around 2:32 a.m. on my watch. My watch is a little bit behind my phone. But there's meetings that are ongoing, and there's elites. They're deciding. They summons top CEOs, people from different professions around the world, from agriculture to information technology. That's obviously like the big tech giants, the entertainment industry. Entertainment deals with music, acting, movies, stuff like that. They're having meetings right now to determine our future, and this is very serious. And to prove that they're real, because I was listening to I watch other YouTube channels out there, and this is not no pick on anybody's channel or anything, but there was one channel I was watching with the sister, and she was having a panel discussion and saying, when you call these people the Illuminati, you're giving them power and stuff like that. But I'm gonna tell you that it's not that they have any superpowers in real life. Now, technology's getting better. That's a whole nother discussion within itself, but it's just their wealth that they have. They've acquired resources already. There is a ruling class elite. She was trying to basically dismiss it and some other people by saying, when you mention the Illuminati or say ruling, you're giving them power. And it's not that I'm giving them power. I'm just being realistic in how I'm trying to warn you guys about who they are and what they're doing. This is very important. And Alex Jones, by the way, who many of you are familiar with, has been on the front lines fighting for us for years. And this is why he's been under major attack by the deep state. The deep state, those are the gatekeepers. Those members of secret societies, in case you're wondering who was the deep state. That's like another term or acronym analogy to describe these technocrats, technocratic elites who want to set up a technocracy, a technological world. They have in China, former CEO of Google, Eric Schmidt, and I hear allegedly Bill Gates, the social credit system over in China, which they were trying to implement here in America. They were starting with the search engine called Dragonfly, and I heard there was a revolt at Google a couple years ago when I found out the whistleblower that used to work for Google. This is someone who was top IT professional for Google, Zach Voorhees, came out. He came under attack, so keep him in your prayers. By the way, I haven't heard from him in a while, but he exposed how they had a Patriot network within Google some years ago because they had lied when they testified before Congress about, and our congressional leaders should look into this. Sundar Pichai, who had took over as one of like the CEOs, because they have, overseas and other countries and things. This is all integrated through the World Economic Forum and the Davos Group, which is another extension of the Bilderberg Group. The Davos Group is the daylight version of the Bilderberg Group, by the way, in case you're wondering. Very similar. Just like they have the Bilderberg meeting. I think they canceled the Bilderberg meeting when COVID happened. They canceled it, but they picked things up. They also had another secret meeting. That's neither here nor there, but this was actually on Channel 7's website in Detroit, WXYZ. I bookmarked it recently. They actually acknowledged it, and to show evidence, proof. They acknowledged, they said within the article I read on their website, and they referred to them as the elite. So these are not my words. This is an actual professional establishment media news agency that called them the elite, by the way. So when I talk about this information, I want to let you know I'm not trying to spook you guys. This is really important information. These people have an agenda where they're into eugenics. They want to depopulate the world's population. They want to find insidious ways to use technology and their minions to put in a system like North Korea and other places where if you go against, it will report on you and things of that sort. When we have a constitution here in the United States, it's one of the reasons why they weren't able to do us like they did to Australia when, they put in the kill shots, by the way. You guys know, obviously, you see the evidence without saying within itself what it's doing to people. You look at professional athletes passing out, like not just the football player, thank God he's recovering, by the way, but also that there was footage. Look up the footage of the basketball player who passed out at Old Dominion. But we've known this for a while, and then the mainstream media comes in and tries to claim that we're spewing, as they normally say, conspiracy theories, which we know that's far from true. There's actual things that do occur, have happened. Even the FBI, when they put out a report a couple years ago, whenever that report that they put out, they actually acknowledged within that report, they stated that there are real conspiracies that are real. I said I knew it. I looked for the remedy within the article. They actually admitted and said within this article, when they put out that report, I don't remember what that report specifically was called, but some of you all that have a good memory, when that was in the Associated Press, I saw it through Yahoo because I have a relative that studied communications at Cleveland State. She told me when I would read a lot of those articles, because I pay attention to the establishment as well. You want to look at both and you want to compare notes, but really get your information from the independent media. I would say be careful of trusting the mainstream media, the MSNBCs, the CNNs of the world. Let me see, who else? CBS News. Be very, very careful. ABC Nightly News with David Muir, NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. Be careful. I like when they report on positive things, but some things they're not going to shine a light on. They've been keeping a lot of the American public in the dark about. And that's what I do in sharing and exposing that information. By the way, I see we only have so far one person in the chat. Well, I appreciate you joining, by the way. Blanco Lagardo says, hi, Dorsey, Shane, Caton in here. Thank you for joining, by the way. Just wanted to acknowledge you all. So, in going over this information, I want to let you all know once again the topic of the video, part of the topic. what I remember is I want to let you all know I'm still here. I have new content coming. I'm working on. Just give me some time. Once again, one of the reasons is I'm still on the, as you guys know, the slave plantation. By the way, and I'm working on an exit strategy, and I won't go into the details about that. By the way, because like I said, there are cabal people that watch the videos. I was actually informed, told that. By the way, just because there's not a lot of people in here now, and I've come before you guys really late, a lot of you are asleep by now too. I've been informed that they watched my channel, and when I was going through it, I'm going to recover down the road. I know it's maybe a controversial topic for some, but I'm going to go over because one of my videos was removed a while ago, and it's already done with. The strike or whatever was removed when I couldn't upload it during the time. And it was something I said. It wasn't in relation to the topic, but I'm going to recover the topic dealing with the black card, what really happened at the Pastor Tony King seminars. I'm going to revisit that again for, I say, one last time. By the way, and let you guys know, I'm really an insider. I really, really, really know what's going on. Despite I know some of you guys are advanced, but you have to understand, when you have information out there and you see a brother struggling and he's trying to become free and you have the keys, this person can become a great ally. And it could be a woman that has access out there. I put this out there in the past. I was looking for an elite, someone who can pull me through the door, through the window. If you're out there, someone told me a long time ago, they said, "Oh, Dorsey, you can't find that person. They're not going to reveal themselves." And I said, "Yeah, most cases." But I actually had, I would have to go back in my other email archive, but I had, you could say more or less like a couple people actually reach out to me. And I won't go into the details because they were so private, but one of them was, I would say, uniquely in a way where I didn't really follow through with the invitation as I should have, but I was assumed they're still around. I would just have to track the email down. I didn't see it right away because that particular email account, I didn't check that often. I didn't check it periodically. Like there's 2 emails I check periodically because I have multiple email addresses. And the problem is I get a lot of spam. I had to spam out those from like contracts and stuff that I entered into in the past, and things are so integrated. They're trying to force many of us into doing commerce, by the way, so they can control you and gain territorial jurisdiction and access over you, by the way. But that video that I did previously, to reiterate, that I talked about like a master class on removing adhesion contracts, that's very important. Like I said, I gave you guys a jewel. I've mentioned this multiple times. But if you haven't, you don't need to have to do any status correction paperwork to start off, but get rid of your voter registration. That's one of the major contracts that ties you in to being a U.S. citizen. By the way, a lot of people still haven't done that yet. I harp on that so many times, and that's one of the ways, one of the major ways, even if you're with someone else and you're tied in with them somehow through contracts, how they can pull you in. That's one of the major ways. That's a super contract. Get rid of the voter registration. Very important. Even though I know the driver's license, that's important too. And there's a difference between, there's a way to lean that up too. Even lean the estate up, by the way, because certain things, when you learn the language, are your property or your collateral. I learned a long time ago, your signature is actually your real property, not the real estate in terms of the public side. People, even gatekeepers, think that's just brick and mortar buildings. The real estate doesn't just deal with brick and mortar buildings. Real estate is your birth certificate. Your birth certificate, did you know, is part of the estate, which is taught because it's part of your signature, but it's the entity that was created that they contractually attached to you. I know that may sound confusing for some, but your signature, I learned this many years ago. We had a private class where there was a lady who had a job where she worked in the top position for a mortgage company and broke down the whole process how they get paid. I won't say her name, by the way, and they had corrected her when she was learning the private side information as far as what goes on and how the corporations have been set up, the mortgage companies, the banks have been set up to steal your estate from you, and how they take the check, which is called a security instrument, through this note, the Alliance note they attach, because the underwriter, they undersign their name or under yours. They take power of attorney over you. That's why they have you sign all that paperwork at closing. I've never had a house before. And I'm saying it's from the meetings, because a lot of people, when I used to attend those meetings, I was one of the youngest people there years ago. I'm a lot older now, but it was a lot of knowledge that I would soak in. A lot of older people, when I would attend these meetings in the city of Detroit privately by invitation only, were fighting to have land patents and stuff put on their houses. And I said, I might need this information down the road, because eventually I'm going to want to have a house, want to have, those things. And little did I know what I was in store of, that it was worse, much worse than what I could have ever imagined, as I learned more and more of this information throughout the years. But those are little bits and pieces that I gathered. I have some notes in place, but they have you sign power of attorney away. That's why they have like a loan officer. They come with the paperwork. I've seen even when a relative did a refinance. That's another trick, another way they pull you in when you refinance. Another super contract. By the way, and I know those are tough contracts, so I'm not picking on anybody, but there are ways. There's people out there with the skill sets, but that's one of the ways how they apply these adhesion contracts. And the more you can learn how to dismantle the contracts and put liens over the estate and things, or reconvey the property to your indigenous name or your trust. There's different ways to skin a cat. Then you can be in a position of control, first in line, first in time. And I'm still working on restructuring what I already have done. But I've already done some powerful things, and it is powerful giving public notice. When you have things ran in the paper, it becomes law when there's no rebuttal after 30 days. Remember, unrebutted affidavit stands as law. The same similar procedure debt collection companies use against you when they say this is an attempt to collect the debt. Any information obtained will be used for that purpose. It's just so and so, and you contract. Remember, that debt had been sold, but you never signed a contract with them originally. They're a third-party debt collector, so you never signed a contract. So they bought the debt, the bank sold it, and they played the shuffle game, just continue to sell the debt or sell it to somebody else. And as long as you get fooled and tricked into like, oh, I owe this, you already know what they do. But they're going after the end lingus, which is not you. You control it, by the way, but they use a process, a methodology they've created to when people generally apply, for have their credit ran to try to get a house. And, you have to have a certain amount of money. You have to have a certain credit score to even get approved or pre-approved, by the way, before they even consider you and this other stuff. So they bring that paperwork to closing. That's why you have an underwriter. They undersign their name under yours. The steal power, they have you sign power of attorney away. This is the process they go through. But if we learn commerce, see, they've dumbed this down. When I went over some years ago, when I covered the book, and I may do this again, is go over the book Business Law, because they hid from us how to do commerce. For many of us, didn't learn how to properly do commerce. It's one of the ways they hide the information from us. It's because we haven't learned real commerce. See, the elites created a system for themselves separately. When everybody goes to college and things, they're taught, basically indoctrinated, how to be good slaves, how to be conditioned to work for the corporations, and to be good spies for the minions at the top, the gatekeepers, by the way. And this is coming from a friend of mine's mother-in-law said something to this effect. She worked in the capacity at one time in human resources, which is related. I think she may have even been a school teacher at one time, but related to that field. And she was good friends with the school teacher or whatnot. And she talked about what college, the purpose of college is for. And that's why they have fraternities and sororities or other avenues they've created to, like a caste system, a pecking order to reward certain people to pledge once you get initiated, if you decide to follow through, and there's things lined up down the road. So there's a methodology to how they do this, but we can come out and gain sovereignty ourselves. But remember, freedom is not free. You don't want to be free and dumb. I was informed. Free dumb, there's a trick on the words. Like library is to lie and bury the truth. Library. Attorney is a turn, to a turn. Look up the prefix and suffix. Prefix to a turn means to twist. Look up attorney, means a twist on you. To a turn. Look it up. Just ATTORN. I think that's what the part of the prefix or whatnot. Look up a turn. I learned this many years ago. There's a play, and there's many other words. Remember, in the court system, they use legalese. It's been used. If you look up the definition of legalese, it means it's been used to replace plain English, plain talk. It says this in some of the definitions. You know how Webster's, it'll read multiple variations in a sentence with the definition to give you an understanding of the word and the vocabulary. And it said legalese has been used to replace plain talk. So it's like another language within a language, because English derived out of Latin, which is like a parent language. And I said it's not a coincidence when I found out many years ago they took Latin out to high school. And that's why I had connected to Major Dot when I came across some older people that said they learned some of this information in school, where they could understand what I was relaying to them because they understood Latin. They took Latin. I had never taken Latin before. I took French and I took Spanish, but I didn't take Latin, which I think those have derivatives of that part of the language as well. So understand the court system, they use legalese, and there's a reason. So it's easier for them to dumb the general public down, to keep us in the dark. One of the ways they've done this, I learned from Jonah Bay, is we haven't learned, many of us didn't take civics class, by the way. Civics dealing with the law. We should have been taking law as early as elementary school. So we would be very well acclimated today. That's why they dumb us down and have an advantage over many of the general public. When people go to court for the first time, even police officers are trained to a certain degree to speak a certain way. And I went over this with you guys, like when you say, yes, I understand you're contracted. When I didn't know, when I got my first speeding ticket years ago by Allen Park Police in Allen Park, Michigan, he said, you do understand you were doing 72 miles per hour in a 55 mile per hour zone. I said, yes, sir. He said, you do understand you were doing this. And he went so on. I kept saying, yes, sir. Yes. It's to get you in compliance. So when you're agreeing, you're saying yes, and that's actual contract. You know, these are some of the basics they were teaching us in the court. So this is why there's a trick to this. And it's a form of deception. I was sharing with someone recently, they've really used trickery, and they've induced us into the participating in this fraudulent system that they've structured. We can get out of that. We just got to continue to fight, continue to study, warn other people. So I want to give you guys encouragement. There's new content coming. Want to let you guys know I'm still here. By the way, I'm going to read the chat before I get up out of here. It says, Hadrupal Sosa says, peace, family from New Jersey. Appreciate you, Hadrupal. Thank you for joining. Says, I took 3 years of Latin. Wow, cool. Says, Latin was good to detect suffix, prefix, science, and law. Okay, see, you just confirmed pretty much. See, I've never took Latin before. And that's why I've got to brush up. It's never too late. It's just can be tougher when you get older because, you know, you got families and you got to worry about punching the clock, you know, things of that sort. And they know this, by the way, and that's how they can keep you occupied and keep you busy from actually building and understanding how they're pulling this curtain over us to keep us in the dark, by the way. Well, that's my time, guys. With that said, I appreciate you guys rocking with me. Dorsey's Resource. Once again, if you want to follow me after the video uploads, it should be in the description box. But you can follow me. I am on Twitter at Dorsey's Resource. I'm on True Social at Dorsey's Resource. I'm also on Parler at Dorsey's Resource. I'm on the gram, of course. But those are establishment platforms. I prefer you guys to get on Rumble, get on Parler, get on. Even though I'm not on Gab, I'm not on what's that yet? The other platform, Getter. I'm not on Getter. You also have Mike Lindell's platform, Frank Speech. There's many other platforms because The censorship is off the chain, and we need to get on other platforms that respect freedom of speech and will uplift our voices and sharing the information. So if you like this video, you like the content that I put out, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, you all, the marathon will continue. Legends never die. They stay in our hearts. Peace. I'm out.